friends. This week I have decided to do my first ever Q&A video because I just thought it would be fun and I'm nosy, so I have decided to empower the nosiness of my viewers as well. So I asked you all for questions over on Instagram and also in my YouTube community tab. Thank you so much for asking me so many questions. Of course, I cannot answer all of them. I'm gonna try to answer everything that was asked repeatedly, and then maybe we can throw in some more niche ones that I just think are fun. To start, a few people asked me, how old am I? I am 25. I'm actually 1 month from turning 26, I just realized as of today. Next, the only question anyone actually asked about my family was, do you have a large family? I have a mom and a dad and 2 sisters, one older and one younger, and we also have a family cat, Comet, many of you know her from the channel. Medium family, I'm the middle child. Another question I got a handful of times was, why did I move from Wisconsin to DC? I actually have a whole video about the horrendous moving process that we went through, so if you want more information about the move, you can watch that right here. But to answer this question, I moved for my boyfriend's graduate program. We moved here together for him to get his MFA in poetry. Although I actually live in like a suburb of DC in Maryland. A lot of people asked me, you know, to talk about DC, what I like about it, what's going on over here, what's fun. And the answer is, honestly, I don't know that much because I live a little ways out and I don't own a car. So it takes me like an hour by public transit to get into the city. I don't get over there all that often. I would say my favorite things when I have been there are the museums. Obviously, the whole Smithsonian system is over here and they're all free, but that's all I really have for you. So obviously, like I said, I moved here with my boyfriend for his graduate program, and a lot of people also asked me about him and how we met. Someone asked me if I have a roommate. I live with my boyfriend, it's just the 2 of us, so kind of a roommate, but not exactly what you were probably thinking. Anyway, a lot of you wanted to know how Preet and I met, and the answer is we met in a creative writing fiction class in undergrad. It was a summer class. It was actually my last class I had to take before graduating, so like I had already kind of done graduation, but then I just had to take this class in the summer afterwards. I was like, oh, this is so annoying, I have to take an extra class. Oh well, creative writing might be fun. I should take this. And then that's where I met my boyfriend of 3.5 years. So I guess it was worth it. I got a lot of questions about if I'm in school, what I do for work, etc. Like I said, I'm out of school. I graduated in 2019 from the University of Wisconsin-Madison with a degree in psychology and a certificate in studio art. So I am not in school now. So what else am I doing besides YouTube? And honestly, YouTube is kind of the main thing. I'm a social media manager, pretty part-time for an education service. I also do like freelance graphic design from time to time. Oh, this is also a great time to tell you that I actually made a little tip jar thing that if you guys want to support my channel and support me committing more time to YouTube, you can leave me a tip. The link is in the description. Absolutely no obligation to leave anything at all. But if you want to, you can. So that can help sustain this channel and also help me sustain it without having to do sponsorships for things I wouldn't actually spend my money on, which I have not done so far. So if you want to help me keep being able to do that, yeah, that's a way to support me. People also ask things about how I got into art, fashion, did I study it or not, etc. As I already said, I did not study fashion at all. I have a certificate, which is like a minor in studio art, so I did study that kind of, but that's not how I got into art. I would say I've always been extremely into art. Literally from the time I was like 4 years old, my mom was writing in like the baby scrapbook, like, Elizabeth loves to draw and paint. Like, it's still true. And with fashion, I would say it was more secondary because I think I had a lot of like internalized stuff about like fashion bad because women, you know, you get it. I felt very self-conscious about being interested in fashion, so I didn't do as much with it actively. And also there are a lot less opportunities for like kids and teens to like actively engage with an interest in fashion versus an interest in art. But I was always super into fashion as well. I've always been extremely particular about my clothing, even as like a 4-year-old. And I also have like childhood sketchbooks filled with my fashion designs that I made as like, you know, a 10-year-old. So I guess the short answer is I have always been super into both art and fashion, and then as I got older and kept practicing them and being interested in them, I also wanted to learn more about them. So like in school, I did art classes for fashion. That was not really accessible to me at all. So I've learned most of what I know from Googling stuff and also from watching other knowledgeable fashion YouTubers. Mina Lay and Ryan Finn are 2 of my absolute favorites. I feel like I learned so much from them in every video they make. That leads into another question. People ask me about how I got started with sewing, how did I learn to sew? And I will say I was lucky that my parents taught me how to sew as a child, but I never like actually made anything. Like the first time I made something myself was just me on my own, and I just kind of self-drafted and held up fabric to myself and tried to figure out the best ways to cut and attach things together. Since then, I've also learned a lot from like YouTube tutorials, but also truly a lot of it is just trial and error and like guessing and figuring stuff out exactly on my own body and tracing my own clothes that I own and just going for it. So I would say if you want to start getting into sewing, truly like just try stuff. If you feel completely lost about a specific aspect, maybe look up a tutorial and know that you don't have to do everything officially, technically, correctly, according to the rules. Just do your best and have fun. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, now I want to get into some more specific questions about YouTube, starting a channel, having a channel, etc. The first one is, where did the name Beep World come from? And the answer is mainly that when I started my channel, I worked in childcare with like middle schoolers, and I was like, if I make the channel my actual name, the middle schoolers will find me on the internet. Mortifying. Absolutely would destroy me. So I had to come up with something else, and honestly I don't really remember where this specific phrase came from. My boyfriend has mentioned that he recalls it being from a conversation we had together, so maybe he gets a little credit on that, I don't know. But there's not like a meaning behind it, it's just like, it sounds cute, it's fun, that's it. It captures the right energy, the right essence. Hi, my camera battery died, and also I got hot in my sweater, so if things look different now, that's why. So the next frequently asked question was, why did I start my channel? Because it seemed like fun. Yeah, I just loved watching fashion YouTube, and I just kept thinking of videos that I thought would be really fun to make. So I was like, why don't I start making some? And here we are, like two and a half years later. Slay. As far as the logistics of how I started my channel, I truly started filming videos on my old shitty iPhone. It was like an iPhone 6, I want to say, and they're not great quality looking back, but like that's fine because your first videos that you ever make aren't supposed to be good. It was just fun to do, and like, I don't know, I still think some of them are fun even if the actual video quality is not that great. That, I guess, leads me to advice for anyone starting a channel. Not really advice, but just what would I say to them? And what I would say is just go for it. That's what everyone says, but it's because it's true. Just try making something and see where you want to go from there. I would also say if you want to try it out, but you're like really scared of people seeing it, that's how I felt. I was like, I want to make videos, but I don't want anyone I know to actually watch them. When you first start, just don't post it. Just make it to see how it goes. My first video I ever made, I never posted. It has never seen the light of day. I just made it to like test it out, see how it went. And honestly, it wasn't very good, but I learned from there. So I would just say go at your own pace, but if you want to do it, just do it. Oh, someone else also asked about my like biggest influences in my video creation style. This is actually another tip for someone starting a YouTube channel, which is to look at the creators you really love and then go back and watch videos you love from them, figure out what about it makes it good, what about it makes it fun and engaging and interesting to you, and then try to replicate those qualities. So for example, some people that I find super inspiring, and honestly my videos are nowhere near the quality of these people's videos, but that's what makes them so inspiring to me. People who come to mind are, first of all, Best Dressed. She was definitely like my #1 reference because she has like excellent writing and sense of humor, but also the visuals are beautiful, the editing is great. Like, she was so top tier at all of those things. A few other people whose videos are a little more different from mine, but who I find just super inspiring in the quality of their videos are Lynn Trong, Makara Tours, Studson Studio. I love Jacob Geller's videos. That feels... that probably seems funny because it's such a far cry from what I make on YouTube, but I find creators that have creative and beautiful editing, a strong sense of humor, and a strong sense of thoughtfulness and like effortful intelligence inspiring to me. So those are some creators that embody various aspects of that. That's a good transition into another question, which was, what are my favorite YouTube channels or favorite channel? I really don't know that I could narrow it down to one channel. I know I've mentioned a lot of people already so far in this video who are some of my favorites: Mina Lay, Ryan Finn, everyone I just said in the last question. I love Shanspeare, I love For Harriet. I've been super into Hannah Witten lately. She's great. Nisi Pisa. rocks. A lot of these are not fashion channels. I really like cultural commentary. Who else? I watch a lot of bullet journaling YouTube as well. Mochi Bujo is my favorite bullet journaling channel. And I also watch a lot of ASMR. And my favorite ASMR channel is Goodnight Moon. She is so good and so funny. That was probably a lot more than you wanted for an answer to that question, but I just love to share people that I love on YouTube, and I really hope you guys check out some or all of these channels. I think they're all really great. Okay, we just have one more question that is YouTube specific, and it is actually about the origin story of my mic topper, adorable little Hamtaro. This person actually asked, what animal is it? It is a cartoon hamster. It is not just any hamster, it is Hamtaro, the icon, the legend. I watched the Hamtaro show as a kid, and I actually got this. This is a pencil topper that my friend gave me in like 2nd grade. My childhood best friend, Sarah. She gave me this literally in elementary school, and I've had it ever since because it's so cute. It's just stayed with me, and then I found it and thought this would be cute to put on my mic. I think Hamtaro belongs on this channel, you know? So this emblem of my channel I owe to my elementary school bestie. Shout out to her. I love and treasure this creature. Alright, to close this out, we're just gonna go through some rapid fire miscellaneous questions that didn't really fit into any of the other categories. First up, what are my hobbies outside of what you see on YouTube? Obviously fashion, you see me sewing, embroidering, making other fashion DIYs. I also like doing other kinds of DIYs like home decor stuff. I also love to paint and draw, and just kind of any sort of art is like my main biggest hobby. I also really like to read. I really like to spend time in nature. I don't get to go like camping and hiking all that often, but it's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, I guess those are the main ones, like arts and crafts, reading, and spending time in nature. Another one I got a lot was my favorite books. Okay, you know that thing of when you pick your favorite things in a certain category and then like 4 years pass and then you're like, oh no, are those still my favorites? I haven't reconsidered in a while. So that's how I feel right now. This question kind of sent me into a spiral, but I'm just gonna give you my long-standing, what I've been saying are my favorites, even if I haven't read them in a few years. Some of my favorite books are The Women of Tijuco Papo. That's probably my favorite novel. I read it in a Brazilian women writers class in undergrad, and I absolutely loved it. Favorite short stories, I would say Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri. I also love a good short story collection. I love Ada Limon. Bright Dead Things by her is probably my favorite poetry book. And I also read a lot of nonfiction. I love like a memoir or a book of essays. I don't know what my favorite would be though. I loved Trick Mirror by Gia Tolentino. I don't know if that's my favorite, but that's one that's coming to mind. Those are some books I'm a fan of. Someone asked favorite animal / what animal would you be, which is a funny question. I like this one. I've been saying my favorite animal is a mongoose since 8th grade when I learned about mongooses in that short story Riki Tiki Tavi. I don't know if any of you had to read it in school, but I was like, hell yeah, this is a cool animal. So now I just say mongoose is my favorite animal. I think if I were an animal, the animal that aligns most with me, I want to say like a fox because they're like really cool and like quick and adventurous. But realistically, I think it's more like a cat where it like kind of still has that like adventurousness and curiosity, but also like loves to like lay down at home, you know? If you could live in any country besides the US, where would you go? I thought of 2 countries right away, and then I realized those are the only 2 countries I've ever been to besides Canada, which like doesn't really count. So I would probably love like any country that I travel to. The only countries I've been to besides Canada are Costa Rica and India, and I absolutely loved both of them. So those are the first ones I would think of. Although realistically, like if we're being super real about it, like if I had to leave the US, I would probably go to Canada because it's the closest to like my family and my home, and like we speak the same language. Speaking of which, someone asked if I speak any other languages. The answer unfortunately is no. I have taken French, Hindi, and Latin all in school at various points. I don't know any of them. I would love to learn a second language someday. That has been a lifelong goal of mine since I was a kid, but I'm really bad at it, so I haven't yet. People ask what kind of music do I listen to? I would say generally like indie pop, I guess. I'm really bad at describing with more specificity than that. I love like angsty women indie vibes. I love a Mitski, Soccer Mommy, Florence and the Machine, Haley Hendrix. Those are all some of my favorites. My toxic trait is that I listen to podcasts way more than music. No one asked for my favorite podcast, but it's the Bechdel Cast. I freaking love that podcast. It fuels me every week. Next question, do I play any games? If so, which ones? I play Animal Crossing on my boyfriend's Switch. I don't know if that really counts, but to me it does. I've also played like a couple other indie games that my boyfriend recommended. My favorite game I've ever played is Night in the Woods. Freaking love. Recommend if you're trying to get into like a cool indie game with like a really like meaningful story, but it's also like cute and funny. It's just the best. What is a type of art or craft I want to try that I haven't yet? I would say needle felting or punch needle. What is a fun fact about me you wouldn't know from my channel? I was a gymnast growing up until I was like 15, and then I dislocated my elbow really severely, and also I wasn't that good anyway, and I was kind of tired of it. So it was a convenient time to quit. Hello friends, so I am editing right now, and I just wanted to pop in and say, you may have noticed that I did not answer any fashion questions in this video, despite being a fashion YouTuber, and that is because I spent so long talking about fashion while recording this, and the rest was already so long that I decided to take the fashion section and put it in its own video. So, pressing fashion-related questions, such as, how did you find your style? How did you find the confidence to wear it? And more, will be answered next week. Thanks for your patience. I hope you like this video still, and I hope you like that video when it comes out. Alright, that's all I have time for in this video. I hope this all comes out as something coherent, because this is all impromptu and I don't think I speak very well without a script. And yeah, I heard if you'd watch another video and subscribe to the channel, all of your life's questions will be answered.